Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. I recently released a new track called Snow Boots. It's a part of the winter holiday compilation from Lofi Café Records. And today we are breaking down that track. Make sure you go check out the whole compilation. There's a lot of great songs from a lot of different great artists, so I recommend going to check that out. Also, we are nearing 500 subscribers on this channel, which is absolutely wild. I have a little giveaway competition thing kind of planned for when we hit 500 subscribers, and that giveaway is only for my subscribers. So if you want to make sure you are a part of that and that you are notified of when that happens, subscribe now. There's no better time to do it than right now. I'll wait. Thank you for that. And yeah, there's a little preview for you in about 2 seconds for you to listen to the song. And after that, we'll go into Ableton to look at this session. See you guys. Great, I hope you like that. If you want to hear the full track, you can find it on Spotify. You can find it in my description. I have a link tree to all my Spotify stuff and my Apple Music stuff if you listen to music there. But go check out the whole compilation. A lot of great tracks from a lot of great artists on there, so go check it out. So here's the session. There's a lot of different things going on. Actually quite a lot more than I usually have. I think I have around 64 tracks. I usually don't get up to that high of a number because I think it's too much, but I have a couple different stuffs that are duplicates in some sort of way. I have a drone that has a lot of elements, so that's why the number is so high. But let's take a listen. First up, we have a piano that sounds like this. The chords is playing, very simple lo-fi stuff, C major, and then it goes down to an F major, 7 kind of thing. And then it does a G major to an A minor. And then it goes to an C major with an E in the bass, and then an F major 7 to finish it off. So, kind of standard stuff. Sounds very lovely though. The piano I'm using, as always, is the Imagiro Piano 2 with some Valhalla vintage reverb on it and kind of tight EQ, taking out a lot of the high end, some of the low end, and dipping at 200-300 hertz kind of range to take out some of the mud. Then we have another piano sound that sounds like this with the chords. This is just playing a C and a G first, and then a C and an E. Does the same thing over and over again. This piano is a piano from Decent Sampler called Claustrophobic Piano. Decent Sampler is a free plugin, and you can get a lot of different sample libraries from a website called Piano Book, I think. There's a lot of different free stuff. This Claustrophobic Piano is free, so get it if you like the sound of it. It's kind of had a lot of lovely high end. I've taken out some of the pedal stuff because it sometimes gets a little bit too much. I have an Echo Boy doing some delay stuff, and then I have Valhalla Vintage Reverb, 5.6 seconds decay, and then we have a couple different E-pianos doing some different things. The first one sounds like this, which is just playing the notes of a C major 7 chord, and then some F major 7 kind of stuff, just to outline the chords. Then we have another E-piano playing the same thing, but with a different sound. And then we have a harmony layer playing the same kind of rhythm, but playing the notes that are a third below. So it harmonizes nicely with the other line. Together they sound like this. And this sound is kind of like the backbone of the whole song. This is the main kind of element and melody for the track, because there's not like a classic lead sound that I usually make, but this is kind of the melody of the track. I use a stock Ableton plugin called ePiano Mellow for the first sound, and then I use a plugin called Lounge Lizard on the double, just one of the presets called Dark. The harmony layer is for some reason a completely different Rhodes sound from UAD Vintage Keys, which is a really good Rhodes plugin that I mainly use when I need Rhodes. On all of those we have some Valhalla Vintage reverb and we have some panning stuff going on. Then we have some different vocal layers here. Classic stuff just to get some ambient stuff in the background. These two sounds are from a Mondo Loops pack. I think it's the organic lo-fi hip hop one. I use these a lot when I make stuff like this. Both of these have a Valhalla Vintage verb at almost 80% and a super long decay time to really make it super wet and ambient and all the way in the background. And then we have some classic EQ stuff taking out some of the high end and some of the low end. Now, the element taking up a lot of space is this guy right here. And it looks completely insane. But all it is again, a Mondo Loops vocal sample, which I've pitched a lot of different ways to fit the chord of the song. It's the same sample, I've just pitched different ways. And then I've panned them so they are all in opposite sides of the ear. And then I've taken each of those layers and made a double of it and put on the crystallizer plugin from Soundtoys that kind of makes an higher octave that crystallizes in some sort of way. And then I have a lot of vintage reverb on all of them. And together they make this huge pad drone kind of thing that actually goes on throughout the whole entire song. Just in the background, just filling out in the background. Super cool stuff. Then I have a synth from Diva, which is a cool synth plugin I recently got. This is just one of the presets called Peace Dust. This is from a pack I've bought of some guy. I don't remember what it is. I'm gonna find it and put it in the description if you're interested. Has a lot of different great sounds. Sounds like this. Then I put on an EQ, very tight EQ, an echo boy to get some ping pong stereo delay, and of course, like on all the other stuff, a Valhalla Vintage reverb. I usually don't use any other reverb than the Valhalla Vintage reverb. Then, the last of the harmonic elements, I have some guitars. Just doing some simple stuff. Sliding. Very simple. On the guitar, I have an EQ taking up the low end. Then I have an analog obsession plugin, free. Analog Obsession, if you don't already know what that is a guy doing free emulations of different kind of hardware. All of them sound great and I have a lot of them already. They're free, so you have nothing to lose if you want some of them. This is just a preamp kind of thing. Get some more gain to my guitar sound, get some more grit to it, and then add some more high-end stuff like that. Then I have an amp simulator on it called Vintage Vibe, which is a plugin from a company called Fine Classic Plugins. I think they also have a great drum plugin to get that vintage vibe, that indie vintage vibe. And below that, we have this guy, which is the same thing, just put through my reel-to-reel tape machine just to get some more grit, give it some more body. This is with it, and this is without it. To me, there's some more body, some more low end to the sound, just to fill it a bit out. So, all the harmonic elements together, without any of the drums, sound like this. So, very ambient and sleepy kind of vibe. Sounds very nice, in my opinion. Now, to the bass and the kick. I usually group these together because then I have some control of the low end. The kick is a sample from Splice called SSTS Kick One Shot Classic. Sounds like this. Very soft, subby. Might be a bit difficult to hear. I've EQ'd out almost all of the high end and some of the low end. For this track I wanted a really soft, subby kick with a lot of low end. To begin with, I had this bass just playing the root notes. This is the Ample Bass P2 Lite plugin for when you need some bass and you don't either know how to play the bass or you don't have a bass. And then I have an amp simulator. This is one was free at some point. I don't know if it is anymore. An emulation of an Ampeg amp, which is one of the best amps there is out there for bass guitar at least. And then we have an EQ taking out some of the low end so it doesn't get too muddy, because we have a lot of sub in the kick. I wanted to take out some of it in the bass so we don't have too much low end going on, making the mix muddy. And then I have a utility just making everything below 120 Hz mono. Then what I did to that was again put it through my reel-to-reel. This gives the sound a lot of compression. It compresses it down a lot through the reel-to-reel tape and gives it some distortion. You get a really soft and warm bass sound. Now for the drums, we have all the classic stuff. We have a couple different snares. We have a main one, which is from Power's Splice Pack, I think. Only thing on it is a little plate from Sound Toys. This was free for Black Friday, or I don't know if it is anymore. If it is, get it. A very nice plate reverb. This is what I use when I need some reverb on my snare. I always use this little plate Sound Toys. Then I have an EQ taking out some of the high end and some of the low end. And then I have a couple different Foley stuff I've chopped up, again from the Tower sample pack, just to, yeah, what do you call it? It's like rises into the snare before it, you know. Then I have a hi-hat, of course. This is a combination of two different hi-hats from Splice, and what I've done to them is played them in eighth notes, and then I've put on a dotted eighth note delay on both of them, so it like makes this 16 note kind of groove. There was a lot of theory words, so if you don't know what any of it means, don't worry. And then we have an EQ, and then I recently started to begin to pan my hats because I think it sounds nice, so it goes from the right to the left here. I think it sounds very nice. Then I have a percussion kind of thing. Sounds like this. It's kind of warped, so it sounds kind of weird, but it like builds to the groove. It's very tucked in the background, so it's not that loud. Then I have another Foley kind of loop thing that I've chopped up with a lot of reverb on it. And then I have another Foley. This is someone walking in some snow, and then I've chopped it out to fit the rhythm. Then I have some rides, also from Splice. Just going from the right to the left with a lot of reverb on it. So that's the drums. On the effect bus, we have some different ambient kind of stuff. We have a market sound with some people talking, some vinyl cracking, and then I have some fire to really get that cozy winter holiday vibe. Then we have some different transitional stuff. We have this laser kind of thing. Then we have this Foley transition. This is, I think, like a reverse chime shaker kind of thing. Another laser for the drop. Sounds lovely. Then we have like a swooshy sound. And then at the end we have some chimes. So, very standard transition stuff. So yeah, that's how I made this track. If you found any of it helpful, consider subscribing and leaving a like. Leave a comment if you have something you want to see from me in the future. And yeah, visit the link in the description. I'll link to the whole compilation so you can take a listen to all the tracks. And as always, remember, someday things will get better. Thank you guys.